Nowadays, it seems like there's only a handful of topics that people are talking about nowadays, and one of them is AI. Whether it's about AI data centers, AI destroying the earth, or taking over the world, it's a topic that seems to make its way into everyday conversations, online or otherwise. And naturally, I find myself thinking about it more and more being a person who does art for a living. When I'm not on YouTube talking about God knows what to you fine and lovely people, I'm doing a lot of filming. I'm on film sets doing film stuff. And with AI forever creeping its way into the arts, which is still bonkers to me, like why didn't y'all just let it do something important and boring like taxes or something? It has a lot of creatives concerned. What does this mean for a person's hobby or career that they've put so much time, money, and care into? I'm going to tell you right now up front, I'm not coming on this platform to tell you if you're a creative, you're cooked. That's not what this video is about. I'm actually going to say the opposite. Kind of, in a way. You'll see. What I'm really trying to say is I'm not going to spread any more negativity on a topic that is already very negative and on a lot of people's minds. Also, this is not a video just for creatives by any means. This is not even creative advice, if I'm being honest. It's just some thoughts I have on where I see the landscape of AI and creative arts going. But what am I talking about and where do I see things going? What do I mean by that? I think the AI in art and media craze that we are currently in and that we are currently experiencing is going to bring an exponential rise to an already existing aesthetic that we see in media and arts that I am going to call, for the sake of this video, low res media. And we'll get more into this later in the video, but like I said, this is not a new thing in and of itself. However, I think the popularity of it and the widespreadness, is that a word? However, I think we will see this intentional aesthetic choice push its way further into the mainstream and become mainstream as a direct result to combat AI. If you are new here, welcome. If you are returning, how you doing? Welcome back. We must prepare for when the clankers attack.
流星に導かれ出会いは夜のマリーナ
So I think a big question to pose here and talk about for a little bit is, why is AI even in the arts in the first place? Like, again, bro, I thought I was safe, like in the creative space. I thought I was safe from all of this, right? Well, this is a very broad question, so admittedly, I'm going to have to give some very broad answers. I say that only because, as I've said on this channel, and I'll probably say a million times more, nothing is black and white, nothing exists in a vacuum, and everything is nuanced. But it's not a reach to say that AI in the arts has a lot to do with money, which, I mean, most things are nowadays, right? AI allows you to make things for literally nothing, or at least it is significantly less time, work, and energy than, let's say, a whole production or illustration or animation or something like a drawing from scratch or a painting, right? You could also say AI is giving the people who don't have the technical skills to produce said art the chance to experiment with these new types of art. I used to work with this guy a couple of years ago at my old job who used to play with one of these AI tools. I'm not sure of the name. I can't think of it for the life of me, and I don't think I have his number anymore. If we didn't have a lot of work to do that day, he would fire it up on his laptop and he would ask us to give him like random prompts or, you know, describe this or describe that, and he would like put it into the AI engine or whatever, and it would pop out a pretty cool image. And it was the beginning of when these AI tools were becoming mainstream and widespread to the public. So it was cool and it was new and it was interesting. And they were like photorealistic copies or direct copies of the things we were giving him, the prompts we were saying, the characters we were mentioning. If we had an artist commission the things that we were saying, this would be from a very super talented artist, like that had years in the game, that was a master of their craft. Which I bring up because that feels like a second goal of AI in art and media. The media that comes out is super polished, it's super clean, and in some cases, in most cases, it's a direct copy of the thing that you are trying to copy or imitate. Which I bring up because that is like a second goal that AI achieves. It produces these high quality, super polished, and in some cases looking very much like real life or an exact copy of the thing you're trying to copy, pieces of art for nothing. Professional, clean looking images, animations, other pieces of art for a fraction of the cost or maybe even no cost at all. So obviously you can see the appeal of businessmen and capitalists alike and why the push for AI in all things, including the arts, is a thing. Now, real quick, I do want to say that I think all that I've said does kind of touch on a point that I feel like not a lot of people are saying or talking about, which I'll say real quick and maybe I'll get to later in the video. But just because it's polished does not mean it's good, and specifically for video, because that's kind of my wheelhouse. That's the thing that I find myself dabbling in the most. There's so much more that goes into a quality piece of work, video, film production, than just it looks super good and polished. We can all think of movies off the top of our heads that were very good looking, you know, whether it's the production, whether it's the names in there that were terrible, right? It says nothing for the storytelling, the pacing, the art direction, if it makes sense, and just so many other things that make something good. It's not just the visual. But we're going to talk about that more later. Now, obviously, this is all in direct conflict with artists who are artists for a living. And even artists who are not artists for a living, just artists in general. An artist who's an artist for a living's worst nightmare is that AI becomes so good and so whatever that it completely erases the need to have human created things in general. And it's a legit and honest fear, but I don't think we're ever going to reach that point, personally. And also, I think that AI is going to be the direct cause and is causing this new explosion of this new type of media that I personally don't see a lot of people talking about, which is what I mentioned in the intro earlier in this video. But I think about it all the time when I come on YouTube, when I go on Instagram sometimes, when I'm on Pinterest. And that is the rise of low-res media. You could also probably say like indie media. Now we're getting into the thick of it. Now I'm not on social media as much as I used to be, and sometimes it is hard to tell whether something is AI generated or not. We've all experienced this. It's scary as hell. But what I'm going to argue is that it is never hard to tell when something is human generated. Even though AI generated stuff, I would say is still technically human generated because a human had to put in the prompt and the code, and the AI tools and machines or whatever are most likely pulling from things that were human made in the first place. But I digress. Like I said earlier, and which was the point of that first part of that video, the AI generated videos I feel like are mainly trying to copy like the super polished, super clean, professional aesthetic, visual aesthetic of popular media. So there is a specific type of media that they are trying to replicate. And if there's one thing I know about us humans, it's that we are a lot of things, mainly very hard to get rid of. We are very good at adapting to different environments and sticking around, for better or for worse. And I feel like I've noticed a trend where a lot of creatives are adapting a lower quality visually to their videos, to their animations, to their illustrations, to whatever. Essentially, I just mean things that visually look unpolished. Things that look like they are the opposite of what AI is trying to generate and replicate. I think a great example of this is pixelated art, things that look like they are intentionally made with poor graphics, you know, things from the 90s, early 2000s, or even YouTubers intentionally choosing to say, forget the high quality cameras, forget the high quality mics, forget the high quality everything. We're just going to put all of those points and attributes into something else about this piece of content or video. I don't know about you, but seeing content and media like this does not trigger my "is this AI or not" reflex in my brain. member of Gen Z, it's super cool and nostalgic and refreshing. And I know I'm saying things like low res, low quality, but it's not low quality at all. Just an aesthetic choice. The quality does not diminish at all by any means. Super high quality graphics, super high quality cameras and render qualities and photorealism are not the focal point anymore. And I don't think this is an accident. In fact, I know it's not an accident. Like I said earlier, this is not something that just sprung out of nowhere. People have been doing this and have been on this for some time now. And a great example of this is like the indie game community, a community that I'm not very well versed in. I wouldn't say that I'm a part of, but that I respect heavily from afar. Same thing with indie filmmaking, which I guess technically I'm an indie filmmaker. I don't have the budget and the personnel and probably the expertise yet to rent equipment and locations for $1 bajillion. I have to work with what I got. Now you could say, couldn't people just make AI generated videos in this type of aesthetic? Yes, they very much could. I don't see that happening anytime soon though. And this is less about that anyway. I think this is more about the indomitable spirit that humans possess. And when a challenge is presented to us, when our livelihoods are at stake and are challenged, we will find another way. And yes, capitalism will do its thing where it finds the new popular thing and latches onto it and finds a way to make it cheap and mass produces it. But when that happens, I truly believe we will just find another way. Capitalism and capitalists alike will find the popular thing and latch onto it to make money, but at the end of the day, we also have to realize who makes things popular at the end of the day. Who gives AI the things to copy in the first place? Capitalism inevitably does its thing where it takes and takes and takes. We will be there to create and create and create. But I think all of this brings up another very interesting question in relation to arts, media, and AI. What does this mean for the people like myself who are trying to make things look super polished and super clean and super high level, high budget, whatever type of art, media, and content? Now, I heard a pretty good take on what could become of AI in media recently from Ben Affleck, actor, director, producer, husband of J-Lo, Ben Affleck. And while I've only seen a couple of clips because I do not watch Joe Rogan and I'm not going to watch a whole podcast of that, he seemed to be making some really good points and he has a lot of people on his side and he seems to have reassured a lot of people about AI in media. I'll paraphrase, but essentially he saw it as becoming a tool that creatives can use to help create, and that there are so many more things in the way of AI becoming super mainstream and super over consuming than we may think. There's how much the technology is actually progressing versus what the people who are trying to push the technology are saying about the technology. There are existing laws, how long it would actually take to implement something of this scale into an industry such as filmmaking. Just overall fear clouding people's judgment and causing people to come to conclusions that otherwise wouldn't make sense. And my favorite, of course, AI companies and people who have money in AI companies are going to do whatever they can to convince you that AI is going to control everything and take over everything, because that is good for their pockets and their bottom line. And as a creative, especially from someone who has reached the film creative heights that he has, is very good to hear. We've also seen companies like Coca-Cola use fully AI generated ads and the reception was terrible. It was also not good. It's almost like people don't like the idea of engaging with something that was not created by humans, but created to look like it was created by humans. AI is not the sign that you are out of a dream or out of a dream job. Nobody really likes AI, I don't think, except for the people that have money in it or are making money from it. And with the AI being the hive mind that it is, if a big company or conglomerate was to use AI for like an ad like Coca-Cola, I don't see how they're not going to get outed for it and not get found out about it. And we saw the reception from when that happens. Nobody likes it. And one thing I want us all to remember is that yes, there are people at the top making these decisions, and yes, these people would love to have a cheap alternative like AI be the creative department for these companies. But the ones that are consuming all of this are us. And while some people don't care, there are a lot of people like me and you that do care. And it's a lot more people than you think. There are so many things that make a great piece of art a great piece of art. And I think AI and the people that are using and abusing it don't know and don't understand that. They are primarily focused on one thing, and that is the visual, how it looks. We as people, we as consumers, we know this, consciously or subconsciously. Things are so wild now. It is the Wild West for creative spaces right now. It's insane. But it's us against them. And a common theme that I want to express in all of my videos is that we have way more power than we think. Thank y'all for watching this video. This one took a long time to get out, mainly because it took so many forms and it changed topics so much. I couldn't really lock it in and figure out what I was going to say, other than I wanted to express my discontent with AI. But then I also had a separate video about, low res media that I was calling it, and I had to join it together. But not an excuse, just a reality. But hope everybody's having a good 2026 so far. It's the first month. It's coming to an end, but hopefully I get this out in January. This might be coming out in February, I don't know. But I have some new things coming up soon that I'm excited for. And thank you for tuning in. If you feel so inclined, I do invite you to like and subscribe. But either way, I do hope you stay, right? Watch some other videos, and I'll see you next time.